Hello and welcome, Ishani here, and yes, it's me. I'm just making sure you identify me in my sexy voice. I get it every Valentine's and it lasts till summer, thanks to my allergies. Today I have a beautiful card for you from the marvelous monthly release by Altenew, the Craft Your Life Delicate Garden Kit. This kit has gorgeous supplies. First is the 6x8 clear stamp. It has 3 beautiful floral images and big, beautiful, bold sentiments. Also, the small font sentiments for adding on our cards, along with the big, bold hello, thank you. And then we have the coordinating die set for the floral images. Also, there is a set of 6 stencils to color all the floral images. They are marked and easy to lay out for blending inks. And then you have this beautiful 3D embossing folder that matches the big floral stamp and the coordinating die. On my blog, I'm sharing these cards and how I made them. So don't forget to head over to my blog for a closer look. And if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. Please consider subscribing and checking out my other videos where I have shared tons of techniques and cards. Not tons, yeah, but around 100. So not many times have I used an embossing folder with stencils. So for my card today, I thought to combine these two. And I'll be using the lighter inks from the set of 4 mini inks. You may use whatever you have. More importantly, you need 2 shades of inks of the colors that you want to use, light and a darker shade. I'll be doing some rainbow inking. So I have all the rainbow colors except one because my rainbow has pink. So I'm taking Iceberg and Eastern Sky from Lapis Lazuli, and soft lilac and lavender field for the purples. And similarly, I go through my stash and see what colors do I have, and then I take oranges and greens and pinks, and I choose a light and a darker color. So one of my favorite supplies to play with, my favorite toy in my craft room, is the 3D embossing folder, and I love to try different techniques with it. If you've not checked my embossing folder techniques video, please do check it because many of you loved it. And if you've not checked out, I'll link it in the description box below for you. I'm going to emboss this beautiful image on a white cardstock, but before I do so, I just go around checking how I would like to have the layout of the flower. And so I do this little slantways. But this was a mistake because I don't have a big short plus, and when I embossed it, it gave like the edges were all frayed and I had to chop it off a little, but it did not really make a difference. You will see when I emboss it. The first thing that you have to do is first mist some water on both the sides of the cardstock so that it does not tear. For this technique, you can use Bristol Smooth cardstock. I am using a local Indian cardstock, and I would recommend that you check out your local stationers and maybe you will get a paper that will work for you, because I have done that and it works for me beautifully. Let's go ahead and make our card, and we are going to start with some ink blending. I'm going to start with the light blue ink. This is Iceberg and this is the lightest blue that I have. First, I'm going to do it on the background. The light inks will be on the background. So after Iceberg, I go ahead and do soft lilac. And I'm using normal ink blending brushes. You can use whatever brushes work for you. If foam works for you, please go ahead. This is going to be light ink background. So for whatever inks that you use, you're going to use the lighter ones for the background. And as we come to the foreground, which is like the embossed image, we're going to use the darker colors. I'm sorry if it's all shaky. Maybe you could like speed up or go ahead a little more to skip this ink blending part. But actually the whole video is about ink blending, and I'm so sorry, I realized it very late that my camera was shaking. I go ahead and do the light green and yellow also on the under my flower, and now it's time to stencil the flower. The 6 stencils that we have has marking and it says clearly that I need to use the first 2 stencils for the flowers and the leaves. The other 4 will be for the other 2 stamps that we are not using, or we are not using the image in this card. So I place my stencil and use a washi tape to secure it. And at the places where we have put our colors, we are going to use the same light colors first to make our first layer of the flower. I'll use the same yellow for the under of the flower, and then go ahead with the light pink, which is pink diamond, on the upper corner of our flower. So actually this is like continuity of the inks which are in the background. When you do it with a stencil, it gives you like crisp outer lining of the flower. Now the first layer of a flower is done. I go ahead and arrange the leaves for the first layer, for which also I'm going to use the lighter ink which we used in the background. I blend the same ink, and then for the center of the flowers, because just above the leaves are some little flowers, I take Sun-Kissed, which is like a light orange, for the center of my flowers. So now you see there was not a random inking around the flower. I had put a thought on what color do I want my big flower, and what will be the color of the leaves, and can I have the rainbow all around my flower. So now I go ahead and continue the blue which was on the right side to the little flowers, for which I use the stencil and blend the light iceberg ink. And so before I go ahead with the second layer, I wipe off the extra ink which would be on the stencil. You can do it as you are inking. You can use a cloth and clean up your stencil. But yeah, I forgot it earlier, so I'm doing it now. I arrange my second layer of the stencil, and this time I'm going to use a little darker inks. So I'm using Lavender Field, which is the darker purple that I have. For the pink, I'm taking Pinkalicious, and I'm letting it overlap with the little yellow, so I get a little orange on my flower too. And a little darker yellow, the Sun-Kissed color, for the under petals. Now that my second layer is done, I just go around my flower with the lighter rings so that I fill in the white patches that I see with all the colors that I have it. So this will also give me a perspective of how dark do I want my flower. This card is a part of a blog hop for the marvelous monthly release by Altenew, where there are amazing ideas by various designers and ideas to use this beautiful release that has been released in March. If you want to be part of the blog hop, please check out the blog post that is linked in my description box and be one of the winners of the total $300 which are being given as prize by Altenew. After I was happy with all my blending, now it's time to put the final third layer, and for that I'm going to use one of the dark pinks, and I will not go ahead and use different colors for all the other lighter colors. I'm just going to use this Rubellite as my major dark color, and when it blends with purple and with yellow, the dark yellow, it will give a different color which will be like on the darker side of the spectrum. And after I blend it and I check it, I think I like it. What do you say? Do you like it? Well, we have another layer of flowers which have to be colored, which is the bottom part of a flower. The leaves and the blue flowers need more of the inks. So I go ahead and use the darker inks to blend on my flowers and the second layer of my leaves. This is just one shade darker than my previous color. If I have your attention till now, I am hoping you are liking my work. I would love if you'd subscribe to my channel and check out my other cards as well. I have playlists where you can check whatever you would like to watch. I love to use techniques for my cards, and I also love clean and simple cards, also floral cards. Oh, I love everything, and I hope you will also love the tutorials that I have for you. Going ahead with my finishing touches, just doing a little more inking around the flower where I can see little white spots. And now it's time to assemble our card, for which I get my stamp set and I'm going to use one of these bold sentiments, hello. I will heat emboss it in white, and you will see that I did a disaster, or did I cut it out? I think I did the disaster and then I rectified it, and I forgot to film that part when I rectified it. So anyways, that makes something like I should have a video of all the bloopers that I've done, or maybe the things we do wrong and then how do I correct it. Maybe that could be a video. I choose hello, and I want to stamp the sweet friend as the little sentiment below my hello. And now that I stamp with Versamark, do you know what I would have done wrong? I actually did not dry my inks, so all the embossing powders were sticking around my sentiment, and even though I used anti-static powder, it still did stick. So I should have let it dry properly, and well, I did that later. I let the panel dry. I used heat gun to dry my panel completely and then stamped my sentiment. This time this sentiment was not as crisp. Usually I get very crisp sentiments because I don't know what did I do wrong. Maybe I can blame my allergies. Yes. So one of the things I love to do with the rainbow cards, rainbow colors when I use on my cards, is give a black matting, and it just lifts up all the rainbow beautiful colors. And I use the same technique. I do a black matting, and yes, there was a little mishap here, but then I rectified it, and I didn't want to waste your time to show that. And then I adhere with foam tape on a top folding white colored A2 cardstock. To decorate my card, I have these beautiful sequins that I will stick around. Well, I hope I inspired you to take out your embossing folders and stencils to do some ink blending. Well, this is my workout for the day. I hope if you are happy with this kind of workout, you would also do the same. I am hoping you will like this card, and please do let me know if you liked it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please do check out the other cards which the designers have with this beautiful release, and I hope to see you again. Bye bye. Happy crafting.